What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Edgar here. I'm back with another video. So I actually put out a poll on my Instagram, and if you don't follow me already, make sure you follow me. I'll put my Instagram handle in the description down below. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram. I'm very active on there. I'm always posting my car and stuff like that, so make sure y'all follow me on there. But I put up a poll just to have some people ask some questions. Some got personal, some are just more car related and stuff like that. So I'm making this video to answer some of those questions now, and kind of fill in some blanks, if you could say that. So let's get right into it. So if you guys already don't know, if you haven't watched my other videos, this is my 2018 Dodge Charger RT Scatpack. I got this car 3 months after I closed on my home. So I closed on my home. I used to have a V6 Charger. I sold that, waited 3 months without a car. I was looking online for some cars. For Scatpack, actually, I was looking to get a V8 car in Arizona. I spoke to the dealer. We made a deal. They shipped it out to me, to my place, and I've had it now for about, for about a year and 3 months now. I got it in September, yeah, I got it September, and it's November now, so a year and 2 months actually. It's about to be December. It's about to be December 2023. I bought this car at 21. A lot of people ask me, yo, like, how do you afford like a Scatpack at 21, and how do you afford a mortgage and stuff like that? It's pretty simple. It's just hard work. You just honestly, I personally don't believe in 9 to 5s. I think that 9 to 5s are very enslaving, to be honest with you. I'm into real estate, so I'm in the real estate market. That's how I'm actually able to afford a lot of these things now, like my cars, the mortgage or whatever. And schooling is also like textbooks. But yeah, that's how I'm able to afford this at 21. Is definitely I'm definitely proud of myself. I used to be homeless. Me and my family, we used to be homeless. We used to. I grew up in Portland, so we stayed under a tunnel for a couple of months just because we couldn't pay rent. Food was also a big obstacle for us. I was very young. I think I was like 5, 6. I was in kindergarten actually. I didn't have much clothes. I remember getting bullied for the clothes just because I would wear the same clothes for like the entire week. I had a very, very hard upbringing, especially with with the wheelchair and stuff like that. It was much harder for me just because I never actually had a childhood where I could enjoy being on the playground with my friends in elementary school and all this. So I had it rough. I'm not gonna lie. I don't look down on it. I don't feel bad for myself, and I don't feel like anybody else should feel bad for me, because it definitely taught me a lot of things, and it made me into the man that I am now. To be able to afford all this now, I'm definitely proud of myself, and I hope, honestly, my mission now is to inspire more people to not let obstacles get in their way. No obstacle is too hard to overcome. Use me as a prime example of this with all the hardships that I've had and everything. I want you guys to know that it is all possible. There is no excuse. There's nothing that you are not able to accomplish if you have the right mindset at all. It doesn't matter. Even with my physical limitations, I'm able to do all this, and I'm sure you guys can too. So just use me as a motivation, that even just say, if that guy in the wheelchair can do it, why can't I? And we can all do things. Trust me. We're all. It's just in the mindset. It's just in the mindset. The mindset is gonna push you forward. Trust me. So back to the car again. It's a fully loaded. Actually no, it's not fully loaded. I'm missing something. So it's almost a fully loaded RT Scat Pack. My Scat Pack does come with the Dynamics package. So it does come with 6-piston Brembo brakes, from the factory, 4-piston Brembos. It comes with 275 tires all around, front and rear. What else do I have? Excuse my car, it's all messy. I haven't detailed this car actually since I got it almost a year ago. But it does have the um, Beats audio system. I believe that was like the upgraded system for 2018s. And I do have the leather slash Alcantara seating inside. I was gonna spend a lot of money. I did not want to buy a Scatpack with cloth seats. And then also, I have it closed right now, but it does also have a moonroof. So I have a, or sorry, not a moonroof, sunroof. So I do have a sunroof as well in my car. What else do I have? The only thing that I'm missing in this car that it did not come with was the, I believe it's called like the technology package. So it's like adaptive cruise control, blind spot, stuff like that. But everything else, it's fully loaded except for that. I don't have the technology package. And when shopping around, I did do it on purpose. I did not want to spend $30,000-$40,000 on a car that wasn't gonna have certain options, because it's a lot of money and you don't want to spend that kind of money on something that, you know, you're gonna regret eventually. My V6 had cloth seats and I didn't like them. They were uncomfortable. They just felt weird. These seats are awesome. I love them. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back at all. I do take out this car to the drag strip, and it's built by Drake Built. He is out in San Bernardino, I think it was. He's out in San Bernardino, so I do take out the car to him by next year, before summer. I'm getting some catless headers in, some long tube, and then I'm going to get it tuned by Yellow Jacket Tuning. I did try to find some tuners here in Oregon in the PNW, but I feel like Yellow Jacket Tuning has made a name for themselves, and I want to, you know, bring that here into the PNW, and you know, show some of their work out in the track. So that's my plans with this car. I do plan on buying another car actually. So this car is strictly daily use. It's going full bolt on, pump gas. It's not going on E. E is pretty expensive out here. Like compared to like California, where you guys can get it at the gas station, we can't. And the closest gas station that is here is out in Eugene, and that's like about an hour and a half from my place, and I'm not doing that. So it's going on pump gas, so it probably won't push as much power as it can with a full bolt-on tune. But this is a strictly daily driven car. It's going to be daily driven. I'm going to purchase a second car, which is going to be a 10-speed. And I know some of you guys might say, well, why didn't you buy the 10-speed in the first place? Like, why did you buy this car? And I'll explain why, actually. I'll explain why. I'll give a brief explanation, and then I'll go back inside the car and record the rest of the video, because it's pretty chilly out and I'm not trying to stand out here all day. I kind of grew up around Mopars for a big chunk of my life, and that was actually one of my first cars, the 2007 Ram, Dodge Ram 1500. Of course, it had to be a V8, and it was a 4x4, so it was a pretty nice truck. I still have it. I gave it to my brother, and so now he drives it. So kind of just, you know, kept it in the family. But yeah, I grew up around Mopars. This is why I bought this charger, and I bought the V6 charger. The reason I bought a charger was for my wheelchair initially, because I saw that the bulky look of it looked like a boat, and I was like, and I wanted my wheelchair, I wanted to drive and also have my wheelchair accessible for me, and I didn't want to have a van, and I wasn't able to accommodate that for my truck, hence why I gave it to my brother. But I wanted a car that was going to be able to carry my wheelchair with due modifications. Research and whatever, I came to the conclusion that the charger was going to be the best fit for me. It was going to be a mix of, you know, muscle car-ish, sporty car look to it, but then also, you know, accessible for me, which is why I bought the V6. And I bought the V6 as an introduction, honestly, to the charger platform. I had never been in a charger ever, so I didn't know, you know, what to expect. So I bought the charger, and then I bought this thing, the pole. I know you guys are, if you haven't already seen my other video, this is for my wheelchair. Whenever I go to car shows, people are always looking at it and asking what it is. It looks like a parachute. It's not a parachute. I wish my scat was that fast. It's not. This is for my wheelchair. So the red thing on the bottom here is what hooks up to my scooter. So that my scooter will go over that red piece. There's two levers on the top here, and I click and I push them up. What that will do is it will bring the red plate up and forward, and it'll lock with that little hook right there that's extending out, and the wheelchair kind of just hangs around here, and that's it. Rear facing camera, I can still see through it, but not as much. But yeah, I bought this with the idea that the car seems pretty big. It looks like it'll be able to handle the weight of the wheelchair, and almost actually, almost. The surprisingly, the Chargers are only able to have about 200 pounds extra in the rear without damaging the rear suspension, and the scooter alone weighs about like 120, and that thing weighs like 80 pounds. Even though it looks pretty, light, it's pretty heavy when you put it on the scale. So I'm actually right at 200, maybe a little bit more. So I'm like a little bit over. I haven't noticed anything in the back. I do worry sometimes, so I do check it periodically whenever I take it out for service, and I have them check and make sure that everything is still looking good and that I have no issues. I was advised to not lower this car. They told me, do not lower this car, you will have issues. I didn't listen with my V6, which I had the same setup, and I still lowered it and I didn't have any issues. So I'm thinking of doing the same thing here, just because the wheel gap is like huge, and I hate it. I hate it so much, and I wanted to go on air suspension, but I haven't reached out to Airlift. I believe it's called Airlift Performance or something like that. But I haven't reached out to Airlift and asked them if their kit is able to withstand the added weight here, and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know what could be involved, but I just want to make sure that if I'm spending that money, I'm not gonna blow a bag. And yeah, honestly, that's my biggest issue. I don't know if I'm gonna try to lower it. I want to go on bags, but I probably can't. I don't know, but most likely I'll try to lower it and see what happens. I definitely want to get rid of some of that wheel gap that's in between the car. Now I'm gonna go ahead and come back into the car because it's pretty cold now, and I'll answer the rest of the questions. So it's just kind of, if I'm able to edit this correctly, I'll try to have the screenshots in the video. If I can't, I'll just read them off of the phone and then kind of answer the questions through there. All right, you guys. So we're in the car now. I'll go through the list of the screenshots that I took for all the questions that you guys had sent me, and I'll kind of go over them. I'll go more into depth. I know some of them I've already answered on my story. I just briefly answered the question. I didn't go full into depth with those questions. But in this video, all the questions that you guys sent me, I'll go more into depth. The first question I got was, how comfortable are you about sharing your life story? How and what made you get into cars? So like I said, I'm super comfortable with everything. I'm not I don't get offended easily. So basically, I'll go back to my like birth basically. So I was born with what is considered cerebral palsy, and basically, if you search it up, actually, give me a second. Let me search it up real quick, and I'll give you guys the Google search definition of cerebral palsy. So, cerebral palsy is a congenital disorder of movement, muscle tone, or posture. Cerebral palsy is due to abnormal brain development, often before birth. So one do some of those things do apply to me. The congenital disorder of movement, muscle tone, and posture. The second part, actually, with it being due to abnormal brain development, is what doesn't affect me. So it says it's rare. It's fewer than 200,000 U.S. cases per year. From my understanding, when I was going to the doctor, they told me I was the only case that had what I have. So basically, keep in mind, throughout my development, I was perfectly fine. There was no issues. There was no red flags. What had happened was that I was a late birth, and by the time my mom had gone to the emergency room, they told her that I was already without oxygen. So I had been without oxygen for several weeks now, 2 weeks actually, and so she was taken into a surgery room as an ASAP. I was born via C-section. Some people say that that may have been the issue with me being late 2 weeks and without oxygen is what could have been the issue, but they also don't think it was because, obviously a lack of oxygen will cause, abnormal brain damage. I did get CT scans. I'm perfectly fine. My brain has developed normally. I don't have any abnormalities or any, bad brain development or whatever. So I'm perfectly fine in that sense. What happened though was that a few weeks after I was born, my mom noticed that I wasn't moving. I wasn't moving like a normal baby. I was kind of like a statue almost. I just, I wouldn't move. And my head was actually tilted a certain direction. I believe I was tilted more to the left, if I remember correctly, or to the right. It was one of those two, but my head was like either tilted this way or tilted this way. And so because of that, one of the brain stems that sends messages from the brain out to your muscles, one of them didn't develop correctly. So it's super, super, super thin. And so some of the messages do go through and some don't. This is why I have limited range of motion. So I can do certain things, but I also can't do other certain things. That, and then also my tight muscles. I have really tight muscles, and so because of that, that's also affected my balance and a lot of my daily activities due to my muscles being so tight. So I do go to physical therapy for that, just to make sure that I'm keeping myself healthy, and then also keeping the same range of motion that I have. I don't, although because my muscles are so tight and they keep getting tighter, I want to be able to continue keeping the same range of motion that I already have and not get worse. The worst fear for me would be being bedbound. I don't want that for me. Because my muscles are so tight, they're actually pulling my hip bones on the sides. So we have like the ball joint that connects onto the hip. The ball joint is actually getting pulled out because my muscles are so tight, and so they're almost dislocated. I believe the right one is like 99%, and then the other one's like low 90s. And there's two possibilities for me. It's either one, I don't feel any pain at all, or two, I have really, really big pain or really large pain. Or two is I have, a significant amount of pain, and I would probably be put on pain meds for the rest of my life, and again, be put on a bed because of the pain. I just wouldn't be able to do as much as I do now. Um, so yeah, that's actually what my condition is. That's what I have. And so those are my limitations. The second part of this question is, what made you get into cars? Honestly, man, what made me get into cars? Honestly, like everybody. I mean, Fast and the Furious. And so around like the age of like 4 or 5, I was watching those movies, and so I watched that movie. I watched Too Fast, Too Furious. I watched all the movies. And that kind of inspired me to get into cars. I used to have a lot of Hot Wheels. I used to be one of those kids that will point out cool cars out in the street whenever I was with my mom. And I always wanted to drive a nice, cool car. I've always been intrigued by cars and everything like that. I like to think that because of my physical ability to do things and not being able to move fast, I've always felt as I've always felt that a car would allow me to go over that barrier and finally be able to be faster. And so I guess another way to think of it is that I see cars as my escape to be able to keep up with everybody and not have a limitation. Where it's a fair game. Whereas if it's just comparing my physical ability to somebody else's, it's I obviously lack the ability to be able to keep up. So that's honestly what made me get into cars. What made you get a scat? um Scats get a lot of hate. I won't deny that they have a lot of hate. They also come with a lot of stereotypes as well. What made me get into a scat? Well, again, I used to have a V6 Charger, so I was already used to the Charger platform, and I kind of, it kind of that being in the Charger platform kind of embedded me into wanting another Charger, but this time a V8. And then also, I was in a car club called Toxic Mopars. I was always surrounded by Hellcats and Scatpacks and RTs and stuff like that, and a few V6s. But I guess surrounding myself around them kind of inspired me to get a scat pack. And then also, I've already had the lift. I didn't want to spend more money to buy a different type of lift and a different type of tow hitch and all this stuff to modify a Camaro for it to be accessible for me, or a Mustang. Like it was a lot of factors that came into play when choosing my next car. It wasn't as easy for me. I did want a Camaro. Actually, I wanted a Camaro SS. I wanted a 10 speed. It was I was when I was shopping around, there was one that was a 2020 Camaro SS. Super nice, super cool. But again, I didn't want to spend the extra money on having to modify that car also, just like how I did the Charger. So I felt it was better for me to just buy another Charger, and then just kind of have the parts that I had in my V6 and just, put them on the next Charger that I got. So it was easier for me. It was an easier decision financially and all that sorts. I honestly, people ask if I wanted to get a Hellcat. I did. I wanted to get a Hellcat. I wanted to get a Hellcat, but there was, again, other variables too. I live in the PNW. It's always raining like 70% of the time here. So that wasn't going to be a really good daily driver for me because I go to school and I travel like 100 miles every day. So that wasn't going to be a good, financial decision for myself. And then also, I couldn't afford it. I can't afford a Hellcat. I don't believe in, maybe not believe. I just don't like monthly payments. I don't like it. And I can't afford a Hellcat outright. Whereas with the Scatpack, I was blessed enough to be able to afford it outright, and so I decided to go with the Scatpack. And then also, I wanted to focus on my financial future as well. I didn't want to make a decision where, when I say that I couldn't afford a Hellcat was because I was in the process of buying a home and I wanted to secure the home first before buying a car. I didn't want to have an $80,000 car and then live in an apartment, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to have an $80,000 car and live in an apartment with no garage and in the risk of my car getting stolen. Because these cars get stolen, and it's very, very common. So that was my, my what led me to not buying a Hellcat, instead ensuring my future, getting a home, and then buying a Scat Pack, which is what I could afford after everything. And you know after everything, after closing on the home, I couldn't afford it, so I got a Scat Pack. Would I get a Hellcat? No, I wouldn't get a Hellcat. I wouldn't get a Hellcat simply for the reason that there are faster cars out there that I could buy for less money, and even if I was to build it, it would still cost a little bit less than a Hellcat. And when I say less, I mean new Hellcats. I could probably buy a used Hellcat. And so yeah, that's why I bought a Scat Pack. I didn't. I wanted a Hellcat at some point. I did buy this car used, the Scat Pack. I bought it used. And another one of my decisions in buying, looking for a car, was that I was looking for a Carfax. I was making sure that the car was well maintained. It was going through the like everything that it needed to go through. So that was my decisions when I was looking for a Scat Pack. Another question that showed up would be, what have you done to your car and what else do you plan on doing to it? I've ported my manifold, I've ported my throttle body. It's basically a full bolt-on car. It has a lower thermostat, it's a 180 thermostat, and that's it. I still need headers. I like I said, I still need catless headers. So I still need catless headers, long tubes, and it still needs to get tuned. My ECU is still locked, so it's fully stocked basically. My plan for this car, honestly, or if my wallet allows it, my plan for the future would be to make a name for myself in this car. Actually, here in the PNW, I want to be fast. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people want to be fast too, but I definitely want to be fast and make a name for myself here in the Pacific Northwest, in Oregon, with the Scat Pack, especially with the wheelchair and stuff like that. I definitely want to, like I said, inspire more people that everything is possible, and I hope by doing that, that allows more people to get into the car scene, and also to change perspectives on things too. Again, we the car scene comes with a lot of stereotypes, and also people with disabilities, it comes with a lot of stereotypes. So being an influence to that and to the younger generation as well, that can kind of relate to what I've lived through, I definitely want to help influence some of their decisions and what they want to do when they grow up. What I plan on doing to this car, again, full bolt on, go on welds, go on a full drag setup, and then I would fully build this motor. I would fully bulletproof it. I mean, forged internals, built trans, and throw in like a ypur or a pro charger, and then push as much power as I can to this car. Probably a goal for me would probably be a little over 1,000 horsepower, but again, that's like 40 grand above, what I paid for this car. So yeah, that's honestly my plan. I don't know what the future holds for me, but that is my plan. I do want to be one of the fastest cars here in Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest. Another question: what actually convinced you to get into the car scene? So I wanted to keep up with people, and cars in general. I've always enjoyed cars, everything. Like, I don't know, there's just something about cars that just kind of gets your adrenaline pumping, especially when you're racing quarter miles and stuff like that. Like, the moment you see that green light and you start going, like, it just brings like some type of like rush to you. And with all the gear that you're wearing, like the helmet and stuff like that, it definitely, it's a very good feeling, and it's a feeling like no other. And that's honestly what I live for. I like the adrenaline rush that I get with cars. I like inspiring people, and yeah, that's honestly what got me into the car scene. Don't get me wrong, the only part of the car scene that I don't like would probably be takeovers. I don't like takeovers. I don't associate with takeovers. So I do have friends that go to takeovers, and that's, I have no issues with that. That's them. That's their decisions. Just me personally, that's not my cup of tea. But I'm really close friends with them. They're super cool dudes or whatever. But just my personal opinion is that I just don't associate with takeovers. I don't like takeovers, and that's just me. What motivates you to go to school? So this is actually one of the ones that it was a really good question. I like this question a lot, and a lot of people have asked me, why are you in school? You seem to be doing well for yourself. You have a fully paid off scat, you have a mortgage, and you're super young or whatever. And honestly, what motivates me, I'm a first generation college student. My family is what motivates me. My mom, and specifically, my mom was the one who raised me. She raised me since I was little. So my mom is the one who motivates me a lot to do the things that I do now. When I graduated high school, I gave my diploma to my mom because my mom is the one who motivated me to continue going to school. And times when, I was so lazy and I didn't want to get up, my mom would come in and get me up. She'd be like, "Hey, it's time to go to school." My mom would make sure that I was, fed. My mom made sure that I was doing my homework. My mom made sure of everything, honestly. And so my mom definitely deserved that diploma from high school. She was the one who kept pushing me. And yeah, and again, once I graduate here at OSU, I'm giving my diploma to my mom as well. I think that she deserves it. And if for me, it sucks that my mom never had that possibility to go to a big institution like this. And I'm proud that my mom came here and was able to offer me this opportunity, and I'm not going to let her down. I'm not going to call it quits after high school and then just say, you know what, that's it, I'm done. No, I want to make sure that her sacrifices, are were in vain, and that I'm graduating and getting my degree and giving it to my mom, because I definitely do feel like she deserves it more than I do. She motivates me a lot to go to school. So it's all for my mom. Who or what motivates you? Same thing. My mom. My mom motivates me, my family, my siblings, everything. I mean, like I said, what motivates me and gets me up in the morning is that I need to inspire people. I feel like that's my role here in this life. I feel like that's my calling. I feel like my calling is to inspire people to do better, to be better, and just to be an overall amazing person. I think us as human beings, we get stuck on a lot of things and we feel like it is the end of the world, and trust me, it is not. I know that a lot of things have been going on, and we will all go through this, together. There's no obstacle that we can overcome. And so waking up every morning, putting a smile on my face, even if I'm going through hell as well, I always try to keep a smile on my face. I don't think you will ever see me sad, or angry or anything like that. I'm always keeping a smile on my face no matter what I'm going through. And again, what is that called? Like mental men's awareness month or whatever, like all that stuff. Do definitely do check in with people. Check in with them. We hold back a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's just me, you know. I want to continue to inspire people and live a good life. Another question is, you're rich. I'm not rich. I'm not rich. I wish I was rich, actually. If I was rich, I would not live in Oregon. I would live somewhere else. I would live in Texas. That's where all the fast cars are. I would live in Texas or Arizona. Honestly, I like the warm weather and the hot weather. I don't like this raining. All this. Like, I hate it. It's not. It's just not me. But I'm not rich. I'm not rich. Let's straighten that out. I'm not rich. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. I don't dress like overly crazy. You know, you won't ever honestly see me like designer, like wearing like $500 shoes or $500 shirts or crazy stuff. I I wears I wear like $10 shirts and like $30 jeans, honestly, and that's just who I am. I'm not very materialistic. I honestly I would say that I'm financially irresponsible because I keep buying car parts and I shouldn't. I need to stop buying car parts, and I need to stop buying expensive cars. I should probably have just bought a Toyota or something or a Honda. But yeah, I'm not rich. Let's straighten that out. I'm not rich at all. I'm a very down to earth kind of guy. I'm a very down to earth kind of guy. I try my like I said, I come from from being poor, so I know what the struggle is, and I'm not going to put other people down for struggling. And I don't think that I'm better than anybody else. Like I said, but yeah, I'm not rich. Worst movie you've ever watched? Oof. Um, I'm not very much of a movie type of guy, to be honest with you. The one that's the most painful for me to watch is like the Titanic. That is the most painful for me to watch. Not because it's sad, it's because it's long, dude. That's like 3 hours, and I can't do it. Like to me, it's just super, super, super long. And again, no, not me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's too long. My favorite car content creator. So favorite car content creator. Uh, I would say that my favorite car content creator would be, for one, Drake Built. Drake Built. If you guys don't already, make sure you guys watch him on YouTube. He posts a lot of car scene stuff. A lot of racing, out in we'll say out in Mexico. But Drake Built is definitely one of my favorite car content creators. Super cool dude, super chill, super laid back. I went out with them to Mexico. There was gonna be a race. Eventually, that fell through, but he invited me. We went, and again, super cool dude. He definitely super down to earth, which is why I even send my car out to California. I'm from Oregon. I'm still like 12 hours away, and I take my car out to him just because, again, he's a super cool dude, and I just feel like he knows his stuff. He knows his cars. He knows what he's doing, and I don't mind spending money on things that I know are done well. I like my things to be done well. I don't care how expensive it is. If I want something done well, money is no issue. But Drake Bell is probably one of my favorite content creators. I always watch him. Always is always post. And what else? Another one of my favorite content creators would probably have to be Drew Peacock. I've watched his videos for a while now. They're pretty funny, dude. He's always clowning on these ricer builds and everything. So I haven't met him. Maybe one day, but yeah, super cool. I think he's in California as well. And then again, like DDE, I'm also a big fan of them. Always watching them for a while now, especially like that twin turbo F12 Ferrari. I think the build. I think that's going to be insane. I've been keeping up on that as well. And Stradman. Stradman, I believe he was from Portland, I think, and then moved to Utah, and I think now he lives in Arizona. So that's another one of my favorite car content creators. And yeah, if you could drive anyone's car, which one would you take? Man, I would probably take. mm, I'm stuck between two cars. I'm stuck between the twin turbo. I believe it's a twin turbo Lamborghini that is out in Idaho. I forgot what his TikTok username was. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna know who I'm talking about. But I think is not only my Lambo's my dream car, but twin turbos is crazy. So I'd want to drive his, and Boosted Lucky's. I'd want to drive Boosted Lucky's car too. Yeah, those are probably one of the people that those are probably the only two people whose cars I would want to drive. What's your TikTok? My TikTok for my car is that F8 scat, and it's underscores. So it's that underscore F8 underscore scat. Let's try to get me to, I don't know. I think I'm sitting at like 2K, 2.2. So let's see if we can get to 2.5 maybe. That would be pretty cool. Maybe by what? Like by the end of next year, have like 2.5. That would be pretty cool. Let's see if we can do that. Make sure you guys follow me. I'll put the username down in the description actually too, and I'll put my Instagram as well. And yeah, what's your sign? I am a Scorpio. I am a Scorpio. I'm not really into signs and stuff like that, like moons or whatever. I don't follow that. But that's my sign. My sign is a Scorpio. I was born November. Um, let's see. Who's tuning your car? I'm trying to get Yellow Jacket tuning to tune my car. I'm trying to send my car out to California. It's gonna get its headers in, and then after that, have it delivered to Yellow Jacket Tuning. That's also in California, and have it tuned there, and then get it shipped back up here once it's done. If not possible, Drake Built would still be building my car. He doesn't tune, so he would just be building my car. And then I have somebody up here in Washington that hold the record for the fastest Challenger at some point a couple years back. And so I will have him tune my car as well. For some reason, I can't get a tune with Yellow Jacket or whatever. Let's see. Are you going to any car shows this summer? Yes, I will be going to car shows. This car should be done, fully bolt on. Everything should be fully built by next summer, and I will start attending car shows again. Like I said, it will be going on Lowering Springs. It will be full bolt on. It would be on its new drag setup and everything. So it should be up and ready by next year's summer. And yeah, everything should be, if everything goes as planned, we should be ready for some car shows. What advice would you give to somebody who wants a scat pack? Advice. Honestly, if you can't afford it outright and you're going to go on payments, I will give you advice. For a brief moment, I was going to go on payments for a scat pack actually. But basically, if you're going to finance the car, I would make sure of this. Make sure that your monthly payments are no more than 30% of what your income is. So my monthly payments, the car that I was looking at, this isn't the car that I bought now. This is another car that I was looking at. The car that I was looking at was $36,000. It was $36,000. My monthly payment was going to be around $350. I think it was 350 with the APR of 2.2%. And this is like mid COVID too. So my percentage rate was my APR was gonna be at 2.2. The car was worth like 30 something thousand, and I was gonna give them, I believe, 50% or 40%. I can't remember. But I was gonna give them a significant amount. The term wasn't for too long. You need to make sure that your monthly payments are less than 30% because not only do you have to pay for your car, you have to put full coverage insurance, and full coverage insurance is expensive as well. So that's honestly my biggest advice. Do not buy a car that is worth more than 30% of your income. I don't care if you think that you can make it, if you cut off some things or whatever, because if you have to cut off things from your budget or from your monthly budget to be able to afford a car, you can't afford it. And if you're looking at things like, oh, how much do I have to make? If you're asking these type of questions like how much do you pay for insurance, how much do you pay for gas, how much do you pay for this, like how much do you pay for maintenance, like all these sorts of questions, you probably can't afford it. And that's simple. It's basic financial, you have to you have to make good financial decisions. And if you're asking these type of questions, and I don't want to offend anybody, but it's probably not the best bet for you to be buying these type of cars yet. I would probably recommend for you to buy a much cheaper car, make more money, and either buy it outright or buy a car that you know that is less than 30% of your income. So when you see videos of people saying, oh, in order to comfortably afford a Scatpack 2023 Dodge Charger Scatpack, you need to make like 100 grand. It's like that because to comfortably afford it with the monthly payments. And again, a lot of people say like, oh, I know people that make 40 grand and they have a Scatpack. Well, that's bad financial decisions, and that's how Scatpacks get repoed. And they're usually owned by people who don't know how to treat their cars well. So you know that's just it. Question was, how do I drive? And that's the end of the question. So that would be the last question, and I'll explain. I don't know if I should start the car actually. I should probably start the car. I use my left hand. It's up for gas. And then it is down for brake, like that. So it's nothing too crazy. Like I said, down for brake, and then up for gas. But yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Honestly, this just was a Q&A video, you know, just kind of answering some questions. I will be posting more on my Instagram, so make sure you guys follow on there. And I'll see you guys at the next video. Peace.